Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I would like to do this recording for you so that at least while you're at home, you can still get something to learn. Very soon, we will hook you onto the school online teaching platform and we will take it from there when we are able to start the online teaching. But for now, we can make use of this particular video. Unfortunately, for evening class, I couldn't even meet them because there was some time I had to wait for them, but nobody came to call me. For the regular class, I was able to meet you for about 2 days. The course stores management system using Excel. By the end of the semester, we'll be looking at how to use Excel to keep store records. Then that one is very detailed. So that one alone, we are likely to spend about a whole month on it. Then from that, we will look at using Excel to analyze break-even, that is to perform break-even analysis. Then also we look at how to use Excel for decision making, such as the make or buy decisions. I know that most of you, a majority of you are new when it comes to Excel. As a result of that, I've decided to take you through the basic rudiments in Excel so that when we start with the actual topics in the course, we will not have any challenges. So the first thing we are going to discuss today is how to perform conditional or how to use conditional and logical functions in Excel. So okay. So the first thing we are going to look at in this video is conditional and logical functions in Excel. Right. So hopefully, if you are not even able to complete all of these functions today, these are the basic functions that you have to know before we can actually perform or do the stores management topics. So the first one is the if statement. Then we look at sum if function. We look at the count if function. We look at the sum ifs. We look at the count ifs. We look at the average if. In fact, all these functions are very important for us to be able to proceed to our main topics. So without wasting much time, we are going to look at what the if statement is. We're going to look at what the if statement is. So the if function is used to analyze data. The if function is used to analyze data, test whether or not it meets certain conditions, and then act upon its decision. Typically, the if statement is accompanied by 3 arguments enclosed in one set of parentheses, the condition to be met, which is known as the logical test, the action to be performed if that condition is true, which is known as the value if true, the action to be performed if the value is false, and this is called the value if false. See, each of these is separated by a comma as shown below. So when you are using the if function, this is how it is expressed. We normally start with the equal sign. So we start with the equal sign, then say if, then we set the logical test, followed by the value if true, and then the value if false. Now, all of us will understand what the logical test means and what the value if true also means and the value if false. For example, in stores, we can have stock levels such as the reorder level. We know the reorder level is the level at which the moment stock hits, it means you have to place order. We have to replenish stock. So because sometimes if you are not careful, you may not even trace it because you may have different items in your store. So it will be sometimes difficult for you to even realize that a particular store item has reached the reorder level. So in this case, you can design the system for the system to be prompting you at, at within every day. The system will prompting you any item of stock that has reached the stock level or the reorder level. So in this scenario, you can use the if statement to set it, where you say that if this particular store item, if the quantity reaches this level, then it calls for reorder. So in that case, telling the system that this stock item quantity, if it reaches this level, then that becomes the logical test. Is what you are testing the system with. And the value if true is the possible outcome you expect the system to perform for you when the condition is satisfied. So in this scenario, the value if true will be that the system will tell you that this stock is at the raw order level. So it will prompt you that this stock is at the raw order level. The value if false in this same scenario will be that where the stock level or the raw order level has not yet reached, the system will remain silent on that. It won't tell you anything. So when you open your store records and you find out that in front of a particular item where you have set the raw order level, nothing has been communicated there. It tells you that you still have enough stock. But the moment you see that at that place it is written raw order, then the system is prompting you that this particular stock item has reached the raw order level. And for that matter, you have to place order. So these are the ways that the if function can be used. And there are so many other ways that we can also use the if function. So we are going to learn how to apply the if statement. Now, when you are building your logical test, we make use of operators. And these are the operators that we use to build a logical test. We have the greater than symbol. Greater than is here. We have the less than. We have the greater than or equal to. We have the less than or equal to. We have the equal to, and we have the not equal to. At any point in time you are building a logical test, you make use of one of these operators. So we are going to take some few examples and see how the if function is applied in Excel. Right. Our first example of using the if statement, we are going to take this particular case. We have some few staff of members of staff, and we have the sales that each staff member made maybe within a week, and the target that was given to the sales member. And now our policy is to give them bonuses. So you're going to see how we can use the system to test if a particular staff member meets the condition for getting a bonus. And if that person meets that condition, then we instruct the system to calculate the bonus for the person. So the first example we are taking here is that we say we should compute a bonus of 5% of sales for all staff if they are able to meet target. Now, if you say that you are able to meet target, then with this, we have to apply one operator, one of the operators that we identified. What do we mean meeting target? We meet target when somebody is able to sell exactly the target that was given to the person. At the same time, if the person also even sell beyond the target, it means that person has even exceeded the target, but the person was able to meet target before exceeding. So in this particular situation, to give bonus to someone who is meeting target, we are not only looking at those who sell exactly the target, but rather those who are able to sell either more or equal to the target that was given to the person. And in this case, the operator to use is supposed to be greater than or equal to. Now, what is greater than or equal to what? We say that if the person sells, if you're able to sell to meet your target, then it means that we will expect that if your sales tends to be equal to the target, or your sales tends to be greater than the target, then you say that you are meeting target in this particular situation. So the function will be if sales, and now the sales for the first person is in cell B2. So if this sales is greater than or equal to the target, which is also in cell C2, this is what we call the logical test. Now, when you complete your logical test, you bring a comma. And when you bring comma, you see that the value if false, the value if true is highlighted. You see, when I point the cursor, when you complete this one and you bring a comma, it moves straight to the next item, which is called the value if true. So the value of if true for this is that whoever is able to meet target, we have to give the person 5% of the sales. So this one is going to be 5%, 5% multiplied by the sales, which is B2. Now, if the person is not able to meet target, then the outcome for that person is what you call the value if false. And in this case, you have to bring comma. So when you bring comma, then you'll be able to express your value if false. The value if false, it could be 0 for the person. That means the person is not getting anything. We can even decide to make the place empty. We can also decide that we write a test no bonus for this person. So in the first place, we are going to use a situation where if the person is not meeting target, getting a bonus, then we assign 0 to the person. So the value if false becomes 0. Then when you finish, you close the bracket. So this is the function to satisfy the condition that we have set for paying bonus to the staff. Say that a bonus of, we should calculate a bonus of 5% of sales for all staff if they are able to meet target. In fact, the if statement becomes very useful, a situation where you have so many people. You see, where you have so many people, you key in this function and you drag it, and it will calculate for everybody. So now when you finish, you press the enter key. You see, because this first person, his actual sales is 5,006 and his target is 7,005. He couldn't meet the target and the bonus is 0. He couldn't meet the target and the bonus is 0. So when you finish and you want the formula to affect the remaining staff, you see, when I select this 0, you realize that at the extreme right bottom, there is a particular small box there. So when you point the cursor on that box, it turns to this type of cross. You see? Good. This type of cross has its own use. Alternatively, when a cursor is inside a particular cell, you see, you get another type of cross. It's the same cross, but this one is white. But the one at the bottom here is black. You see? The white one is used for selecting multiple cells. So when you want to select multiple cells, then you have to place the mouse inside the bracket, inside the cell. You see, inside the cell, and then it gives you this white cross. Then you drag it across. This, you are selecting the multiple cells. If you want to remove even the content from where it is to another place, then in that case, you have to put the cursor on the edges of the cell. You see, when you put it on the edges of the cell, it gives you another type of cross. You see, so this is for cut and paste. So when I drag it, you see, I've moved the content from G2 to F2. So that one is for cut and paste. Now, what do we want to do here? We want to copy the formula that we type for the first person. This formula, we want to copy it for the others so that all of them will get their bonus calculated. So in this case, we select the first person's output, then we place the cursor at the bottom here, and then we drag it. So you realize that apart from the first person, all the other staff are getting their bonus. Sorry, I think that I did not add the percentage sign to the 5. So the output there seems to be too huge. So please let me correct this one. You have to make it 5%. Yes, not rather 5. It's supposed to be 5% of B2. So 5% of B2. Now, let me drag over it to correct that. Okay, so this has given us the bonuses for all the staff who are able to meet their target. Okay. Now, when you are working in Excel, especially when you are working with large data, sometimes you can decide to create a table so that whenever you make small changes, you don't need to be dragging. The system automatically will perform the dragging for you. So like this one, we can decide to work within a table. So supposing we wanted to work within a table, you let me clear the answers or the bonuses that we have calculated. Now we want to work within a table. If you want to work within a table, then having set up your sheet, then you create a table. To create a table, because the table is, we want the table to cover this particular range. So in this case, you can select any cell within the range that you want the table to cover. So I have selected this particular cell. Then to get the table done, we go to insert. When you come to insert, there is table here, insert, and then table, right? So you click on this. When you click on this, you see that my table has headers, has been selected. This particular is very important. If you indicate your table has headers, it means that the system is going to use the first row as the table headings. If you don't indicate that, the system will introduce headings for you. So let's see, I'm not indicating my table has headers. Now you see the system has introduced headings for you, okay? Column 1, column 2, column 3 as the table headings. All the time, whenever you are creating a table, you have to indicate that your table has headers. And now you see that one is there. In most cases, especially where you have only provided the headings with nothing below the headings, this will not be ticked for you. So you have to take it yourself. Then you click OK. So now you see the system is using the first row as your table headings. So now that we have a table, when you type the formula, you will not do any dragging. Automatically, the system will drag it for you. So let's see. A bonus for those who be target. So you say if B2 greater than or equal to C2, the person is meeting target. In this case, comma, the bonus of 5%. So 5% of sales, which is B2. So the moment you complete the function and you press down the enter key, it will fill it for you. You see? Now, this case also, I failed to provide the value if false. If you look at it in the formula, I failed to provide the value if false. So when you fail to provide the value if false too, the system will put false there for you. So now if you don't want to see false, then it means you have to indicate the value if false. I said earlier on that we can use 0 for the value if false. Another way we can express the 0 in the value if false is to just type the comma without even putting in the 0. If you type comma and you don't put in the 0, it means what comes after comma is 0. Nothing is there. So when I press the enter key, you see that the value if false has become 0. Okay. Now let's look at the second situation. The second situation says we should compute a bonus of 10% of excess sales for those who exceed their target. This time is not for those who are meeting their target, but those who are able to exceed their target. So you exceed your target when your actual sales tends to be greater than your target. So in this case, we say that let's show that calculation here. So those who exceed target, that will be if B2, the actual sales, greater than target, which is C2. Now, if your actual sales is greater than your target, then we say that you are exceeding the target. And now we say that such people are going to be given 10% of the excess. It's not the first one. The first example was 5% of the sales. But this time it says that 10% of your excess sales. And the excess sales is the difference between the target and your actual. So you were assuming you were given 1,000 as target and you're able to sell 1,100, then what you're able to add up to the excess, which is the 100, and that is the excess sales. So on this 100 excess sales is what you should get a bonus of 10%. So in this situation, we will have to calculate, first of all, the excess. Then when we are able to calculate the excess, then we multiply it by 10%. Now, before I even proceed to the formula, now let us see how is it going to be done. We are saying that we should first of all calculate the excess. The excess will be calculated by taking the actual sales, which is B2, then you less the target, which is C2. So this is how the target will be, B2 minus C2, right? Now, on this target, or on this excess, we are going to multiply 10% by 8. So if we should just proceed to say times 10%, okay, if you just say times 10%, right, let us see something. You see, in Excel, every calculation you are going to do with Excel, bear in mind that the system is going to apply what you call board mass. We know board mass. Board mass means bracket of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So when you put down any expression in Excel, the system will do the computation based on board mass principle. So in this case, if we are to apply the board mass principle with this particular expression here, you realize that we are introducing the subtraction sign and the multiplication. Now, if you look at the board mass, okay, board mass, see, multiplication comes before the subtraction. So if you enter the function like this, what is going to happen is that the system will first of all multiply the C2 by 10% before the difference will be deducted from B2. So in this case, assuming you are to do only that particular calculation, let us see the outcome. The outcome will be B2 minus C2 times 10%. You see, when I enter, this has given me 4,850. You get that? You see, meanwhile, if you even subtract the C from B, it will give you negative. But look at the output now. You see, so in this case, how do we express it very well for the system to give us the correct output? Bear in mind the board mass principle. So nowadays, we will have to introduce bracket, okay? We will have to introduce bracket. So therefore, we will calculate the excess inside the bracket. So B2 minus C2, okay? B2 minus C2. Then we multiply the result by 10%, okay? So you see, bracket first, okay? Bracket first, and therefore, this particular expression will be computed before it will then be multiplied by the 10%, right? So this is the best way we can put down the expression to get the correct output. So now we are saying that all those who are able to exceed their target, they are entitled to a bonus of 10%, okay? So we go ahead and say that equal to, if B2 greater than C2, comma, the person is going to get 10% of the excess. And I'm saying that we should first calculate the excess inside the bracket, then we multiply by 10%. So I'll open a bracket here and quote B2 minus C2, close the bracket, multiply by 10%, and this becomes the value if true. This becomes the value if true, then comma. My value if false. This time, I don't want to show 0. This time, I want to write a test, no bonus, so that whoever is not entitled to will see no bonus in front of his or her name. So let's see how a test is also written. In Excel, when you write a test in a formula, the system will not accept it. What do we mean by a test? You see, Excel accepts certain characters in every function. And these characters include cell names, like B2 is a cell name. The system accepts it. Anytime you are typing a formula and you enter a cell name, the system will accept the cell name. The system also accepts numbers. The system accepts numbers. Okay, if you put in any number in any Excel expression, the system will accept it. The system also accepts bracket. You see, the bracket is there. The system accepts it. The system accepts the operators, the greater than, less than, equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to. All these operators are accepted. Then these other mathematical operations like multiplication, division, subtraction, addition, the system accepts them. Beside this, any other character you type becomes a test. So no bonus is a test. So if you put a test inside the function without doing nothing to it, the system will not accept it. Let's see. So if I should write no bonus here and close the function and press the enter key, you see that this place, because this place is a test, you see the output, what has come there. You see, the system couldn't write a no bonus for us because that is a test. Right. So what do we do to be able to put down a test inside the function? To put a test inside a function, you have to enclose the test with quotation. And on the keyboard, when you look at the quotation key, which is to the right side of L, you count two characters. The second after L will give you the quotation key. When you are on the enter key and you're moving to the left, that becomes the first one in most keyboards. So on the quotation, you could see two characters. The top is 2, the down is single. The one that we use is the double. We don't use the single. But some people think that when they type the single twice, then they get double, right? You see, so I'm going to use the single 2 times and for us to see. So when I type the single once, see, it comes as 1. Then I add another one, double, right? Now let me end it. You end it as well. So I type 1, 2. Now let us see. When I press the enter key, this one is entirely an error. It's been the first one is better. You see, this is an entire error. There's no way the formula will accept because the quotation that you applied is wrong. So all the time, you have to make sure that you are using the double quotation. And the double quotation, for that, you hold the shift key, then you type it once, and it comes as 2. And let me go and clear this also. So you shift and the quotation. And this, when I enter, you realize that the one who is not entitled to bonus, it is written against him, no bonus. All right, so this is how the if function is used. Now, we'll be building on to a certain level that maybe looks slightly complex than this. Now, the second exercise we are going to do is that we say that those whose sales fall below target are rated as poor, while the remaining are rated as good. So we are now using rating. You see, using if statement for rating. Now, we have the sales and we have their target. And we say that if the person's sales fall below the target, we rate that person as poor. He couldn't perform. And those who are able to get beyond or exactly the same will be rated as what? As very good. So with this, we can decide that we will start the function from those who are going to be rated as poor. And if you are going to start the function with those who are going to be rated as poor, then you ask yourself, on what condition will somebody be rated as poor? The person is rated as poor when his sales, that is a B2, tends to be less than the target, which is the C2. So supposing we are to start with the poor rating, then the logical test will be written like this. And if the logical test is written like this, the first possible outcome is should somebody meet this condition, which is poor. Poor becomes the value if true. And the very good becomes the value if false. So this is the value if true, and this is the value if false. You see, should we start the function with poor? Then the expression becomes if B2 less than C2, then the value if true, poor. Value if false, very good. We could also start the function with those who are to be rated very good. And in this case, to be rated very good, it means that your sales is not less than target. And if your sales is not less than target, then it means your sales is greater than or equal to target. So in that case, the logical test will be B2 greater than or equal to C2. And if we express it like this, then the value if true becomes very good, and the value if false becomes what? Poor. So two people working with this, A can decide to put the function like this. He's right. He'll get a correct answer. B can also decide to put the function like this. B also is right. So we can decide to, we can even apply the 2 and C. So like I said, I want us to create a table so that at least it will to save us more time for dragging formulas. Now, the first example I show you how to create a table, we use the insert tab, right? There is another way that we can create a table. And that other way, if you go to the home menu, you see format as table at the right side, format as table. You click on that, and with this, you have the chance to select your own design. Any design there that you prefer. Okay, see, so I always prefer blue because of Chelsea. So I go for my blue color and click OK, you see. Now, the table is there. Now, let me use the first one, equal to if B2 less than C2. Okay, this particular situation, please. This particular situation, we can't use B2, sorry, because the first person is in row 4. So this is going to be 4, right? Sorry, this is going to be 4, not 2. So all these are going to be 4, right? So this is also 4. This is also 4. So I'll say that equal to if B4 is less than C4, comma, this person is rated as poor. You know, poor is also a test. So I'll put poor into quotation. Otherwise, the person will be rated as very good. If the person is not rated as poor, otherwise he is rated as very good. Now when I enter, you see the first person has been rated as poor. This cannot be bonus. This is called remarks or rating. All right, so the first person who is not able to sell up to the target has been rated as poor. How the remaining are rated as very good. If I want to go by this second approach, let us see. I will say that if B4 greater than or equal to C4, comma, now the value if true becomes very good, comma, while the value if false becomes poor. Okay, so when I enter, see, this has given me the same output. So there's another way we can use the if function. We can use it for rating. Okay, we move on to the next section. The next section talks about nested if function. Nested if function is a situation where you have more than one condition with multiple outcomes. You see, all the 2 exercises we've done, we had only one condition and only one possible outcome. For instance, the condition here was that if the person's sales tends to be less than the target, then only one possible outcome, poor. Then the second one says that it's the same one possible condition. If the person's sales exceed or equals the target, only one possible outcome, very good. But now, in this particular nested if function, we are likely to have multiple conditions with multiple outcomes. Good. Now, this exercise tells us that some staff have been given sales and their target, and now we are going to have different rating. So the first rating is that staff who sell exactly as the target, they are rated as good. Those who fall below target are rated as poor. And those who exceed target are rated very good. So you see this one are having multiple conditions with multiple outcomes. So let us see. Right, we are going to create a table. Another way we create a table is to use the keyboard shortcut, and the keyboard shortcut is Control+T. So Control T gives me a table, right? and I click OK. Now, at what point is someone rated as good? At what point is someone rated as poor? At what point someone is rated as very good? To be rated as good, we say that your sales will be equal to target, and that will be B4 equal to C4. That is where you are rated as good. To be rated as poor, we say that your sales less than your target, or your target greater than your sales. To be rated as very good, we say that your sales B4 greater than C4. Okay, so we are going to see how we can build this particular if function. I can say that if someone's sales, right, if the sales is exactly equal to this, then the person is rated as good. So I'll start with if B4 equal to C4, this person is rated as what? Good. Comma. Then if the person sales, so B4 greater than C4, this is very good. Now the moment if you have three conditions, you set logical test for two of them, and the outcome for the third one becomes value if false. So this time the outcome for the third one is poor. The outcome for the third one. And this calls for two brackets. Why do we bring two brackets here? You realize that the if function has been typed two times. If one is here, we have those two logical tests. So we bring two brackets at the end. You could see that the first bracket is black. The last one is black. The second is red. And the last but one is also red. So that is how the brackets are used in Excel functions. Now, when I finish, I'll enter. You realize that the one who was not able to get a target, the person has been rated as poor. The one who was able to exceed the target, that person is rated as very good. And the one who had exactly the target, that person has been rated as good. So you see, this same nested function could be used for even giving remarks to students in examination. Example is like our grading system in our school. It calls for the use of if function. We know that in our school, if you write exams and you score 0 to 49, you are getting F, right? If you score 50 to 54, you are getting D. 55 to 60, no, 55 to 59, you are getting D plus. 60 to 64, you are getting C. Then 65 to 69, you are getting C plus. Then 70 to 74, you are getting a B. Then 75 to 79, you are getting B plus. Then 80 to 84, you are getting an A. And then 85 to 100, the person is getting A plus. So we can use the if function for this, assuming that we have some people here, A, B, C. These are the names of people, right? D, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. These are names of people, and this is the total score they had in the exam. This person had 55, okay, 45, 60, 78, 90, 55, 68, 79, let's say 82, 49, 75, and 85. Now let us see how we can use the if function to give them their grades. Right. To be able to move faster, I'm going to use a table, right? So this time, you see, this table has no headers, right? This table has no headers. I started giving the list right from column, what do you call it? Right from row 1. So when I create it, I will just say that I don't have to use this, so that the system will give me right. So let me say this is name, and this is grade, this is marks, and now I'm going to have grade here. Okay. Now I say that those who score less than 50 are given F. Those who score this are given that. Those who get this are given that. So with this, because the grades comes with range, it comes with range. In statistics, when you have something like this, we call something like the lower limit and the upper limit. The lower limit are 0, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85. The upper limit are 49, 54, 59, 64 in that order. So we can build the function using one of the limits. So if I want to use the upper limit to build the function, if I want to use the upper limit, let me use the lower limit here. If I want to use the lower limit to build the function, what I will say that I can start from the A plus, where I will say if your score is greater than or equal to 85, then it means you are getting what? A plus. If your score is greater than or equal to 85, it means you are getting what? A plus. If your score is greater than or equal to 80, you are getting what? A. If your score is greater than or equal to 75, you are getting B, in that order. Okay. So let me see. Equal to, if the score is N, so N2 greater than or equal to 85, this person is entitled to A. A is a test. That's the first person. The second one, I'll say, comma, if the score N2 greater than or equal to 80, right, comma, the score is A. The third one, if bracket N2 greater than or equal to 75, right, comma, this person is given B plus. B plus, the whole of the B plus will be a test, comma, then if N2 greater than or equal to 70, right, comma, this person is given a B, comma, if N2 greater than or equal to 65, comma, this person is given a C plus. Then if N2 greater than or equal to 60, this person is given what? Is given a C, comma, if N2 greater than or equal to 55, this person is given D plus. Then comma, if N2 greater than or equal to 50, the person is given a D. Now, when you end with the last one, you don't bring the if function again. So the last one becomes the value if false, and therefore the value if false becomes F. Now, let us see the number of brackets we will need. When you are tapping the bracket, it will be giving you colors. The moment the last one turns to be black, then you are ending. So my first bracket, blue. This blue will close the last bracket open, which is this. The next bracket, it gives me, I don't know the color. Okay, I don't know, I think it's green, or okay. So you keep tapping the bracket. The moment you get black, that is the end. All right, now when I enter, you realize that okay, I think the A plus. All right, the A plus didn't come. The first person, the function, I didn't type the A plus. 85 is A plus, so let me put plus here. 85 is A plus. Now you realize that the one who had 49 had 45 had F. The one who had 60 has C. 78 B plus, 90 A plus, 55 D plus, 68 C plus, 79 B plus, 82 A, 49 F and then 75. So this is also another way the if function can be used. And this is a nested if function because you have multiple conditions with multiple outcomes. Okay. Now, the next exercise, which is somehow little complex, is this. Simple, it says simple if with calculation. Simple if with calculation. It's simple, but it comes with some calculation. But this is not simple. So let us see how we can achieve this. Now we have item of expenditure. We have the budget for the expenditure item. We have actual expenditure, and we have remarks. They say that you are required to find out whether a budget for a particular item, particular item was over budget, and indicate the over budget amount using if statement. So we are going to find out whether expenditure on a particular item is over budgeted, and if it is, then we must tell how much is over budgeted by. What this means is that if you have budgeted that automobile is 2,674.44 and you end up spending 2,139.55, then it means your budget was too much. So when your budget exceeds your actual, that is where we say that you have over budgeted, or where your actual tends to be lesser than the budget, we say that you have over budgeted. And we are saying that if you have over budgeted, then you tell us that this is over budget by this. Okay, so if you have assuming your budget is 100 and you end up spending 80, then it means over budget by 20. Okay, over budget by 20. So you want to see this particular expression over budget by 20 against all those items that are over budgeted. Okay, so I'll create my table once again, right? I'll create my table. Now, in Excel, we can join cells. For instance, if you have Kofi in H and you have Frimpong here, and you want to join the two cells. You want to join the two cells so that you get Kofi Frimpong in one cell. This is how you do it in Excel. To join two cells, which we term it as concatenate, we use the symbol end. This end symbol is used for joining cells. So in this case, I'll put down the equal sign here. Select my H2, then the concatenate symbol, which is end, and then I2. This, if you do it like this, the end result will be that there will be no space between Kofi and Frimpong. Let's see. You see, Kofi Frimpong has been put together as one name. This is not the best way it should be. You should have it with a space. So to get it with a space, then it means that we will have to join a space as well. Remember, space is also a test. So before you type the space, you bring quotation, that is double quotation, then a space bar. You hit the space bar once, then another quotation. You see, you type the quotation for the first time, then you hit the space bar once, then another quotation. This will be a space. So what we are going to do is that, look at it. We are going to do it like this. I'll type my equal sign, select H2, then end. After this, I'll bring the quotation, then the space bar, then the quotation. So Kofi, that is H2 and a space. Then I pick, H2 and a space. Then before I can go to select the I2, I'll bring the end again. And then select my I2. So this is how two cells are joined together, and we term it as concatenate. So whenever you hear concatenate is a function that joins two or more cells. So at the end, when I enter, You see, this has given me the proper name with a space, Kofi Frimpong, right? So we are going to apply this same joining in this particular exercise. We want to say that if the budget is over, then we should calculate how much is over budget by, right? How much is over budget by? Okay, so you say that if B4, which is the budget, if your budget is greater than your actual C4, if the budget is greater than the actual, which is C4, comma, then we say that we should write over budget by, then the amount. Then over budget by becomes a test. So we put that into quotation. So we say over budget by. Now, when you write the over budget by, then you proceed that by with what? With the computation, right? So assuming that you want to even add a currency symbol to the amount, over budget by, then you put in your Ghana cedi here. You put in your Ghana cedi here. Then the quotation will come. You see, over budget by Ghana cedi and the quotation. Then end. You are joining. You are going to join it with the actual amount. With the actual amount, you are going to join the over budget by with the actual amount, and the over budget amount is the budget minus actual. Okay, so you can say that and B4 minus C4. Okay, and B4 minus C4. So it means that assuming B is 100 and C is 80, then it's going to be over budget by Ghana cedi and 100 minus 80, which will give you 20, and that will be 20 cedis, right? Now, if the budget is not over budgeted, if the item is not over budgeted, then you have to bring the value force. This case, I want us to indicate a value force for a situation in that for a case where there will be no value, empty cell. The first one, we said the value force will be 0. The second one, we use no bonus. We can also say that the value force should be empty cell. And if you want to use empty cell as a value force, you type the quotation 2 times at the end. So typing the quotation 2 times at the end means that the value force will be empty cell. Now, when you enter, you see, when you enter, this one, the first person, the budget was 2,674.44, and the actual expenditure is this. So you see over budget by 34.89. You get that? And this one, 48.54, actual 37.34, so over budget by 11.2. This one, budget is 500, actual is 750, so this one is not over budgeted, right? So where it is not over budgeted, the cell becomes empty. And where we had over budgeted, we get the over budget by followed by the amount. So this is another way the if function could be used, right? So this is the end of the if function. In our next video, I don't want to make the video too large for some of us, especially when we are downloading. It will consume us a lot. So I'll make it short for you. So this particular video is a video on the if function. I'll take another video on the remaining functions and send it to you, maybe within this week or before the end of the week. And the end of my week, I take it to be the weekend. So hopefully by Sunday evening, I will send you the videos on the remaining functions. So you do well to study them very well and try to practice more. So God willing, from next week going, we will start stores records management, and we see how we can use Excel to manage store, right? So thank you very much. I will still entreat you to stay safe, right? Stay home. If you have nothing to do in town, stay home. Let us protect ourselves. Okay, thank you.